Good afternoon, all of you. So, in series with my earlier lecture on construction project management, I had delivered a lecture on construction project management, the first of its series. The second in the series of this construction project management lecture was construction safety management. So, the safety management lecture delivered by me was the earlier in this series. And the third lecture in this series of construction project management is construction quality management. So myself, I just want to introduce myself. I am Professor Sanjeeva Narayan Singh, working for IMT College of Engineering, Department of Civil Engineering, as a research and development coordinator. So today I am going to deliver a lecture on construction quality management. Basically, when you move across a well-defined city like Tokyo or any other international cities, you must imagine, you will imagine how perfectly the buildings are aligned and how good quality work has happened in those countries. But how to achieve a good quality work? In India, we find it hard to see those good quality construction projects. There are many reasons behind this, which we are not going to go into those details. We are going to focus on construction quality management. This lecture will be useful not only for practicing engineers, but for all the civil engineering students in engineering colleges in our country and worldwide. So this is a practice which generally on international projects, and it is an international rule and convention that we adopt all these practices to achieve the best quality in construction. So as the cover slide shows, construction quality management, and myself by Professor Sanjeeva Narayan Singh myself. So I start with a quote that quality is not an act. It is not a one-time act that you will achieve good quality. No, it is a habit. So we have to make it a habit to achieve quality in construction. Now, how are we going to get that habit of good quality in construction? By reading the processes and the methods, by using the right tool, tackles and machineries at the right place, by using the trained workers, the skilled workers. Workers who are not trained for a particular job should not be assigned that particular work. So then you do mock work. You practice yourself on the mock work to achieve best quality. Then only you do the actual work. So you see the medical practitioners, what they do. Before they try to discover any medicine, that medicine is practiced on an animal, on a pig or a rat, before that medicine is administered to human being. So they practice. So practice makes a man perfect. So unless you practice a particular trade, you will not be able to achieve good quality. So habit can be inculcated by following all the guidelines strictly and using the right machinery, right tools, right equipments, right tackles at the right place. So now I move on to the next slide, move on into the lecture regarding the construction quality management as a practice, as a professional international projects. So next in line is construction quality management scope. So the first thing that we are going to discuss in today's lecture is the scope of construction quality management. So construction quality management, what is the scope? The scope starts with a quality management plan. You have to make a plan how to achieve good quality. What are the types of activities that you are going to handle? What are the types of work that you are going to do? For example, if you are going to do masonry work, so how to achieve good quality? So there should be quality inspection at site. The bricks brought at the site should be strictly inspected, whether they are first class brick or not, their dimensions are okay or not. So materials of poor quality should be removed. So only good quality materials. So quality starts with material inspection. Then that brick is used in the brickwork, whether that workman is trained for that brickwork. If that workman is trained, of course, the workmanship will be perfect. So the material is perfect, workmanship is perfect, line, length, everything is perfect. Of course, you will achieve good quality. So first, you need to have a quality management plan. So if you are going to do block work or brick work, you have to have a process how you are going to start that. If the brick comes at site, how you are going to test those bricks. Once the brick is tested, how you are going to test the workmanship, the skill of the workman by doing some mock work that can be tested. His skill can be tested. He should be trained. So quality management plan is the first thing that we do in construction quality management. Next is working procedures to achieve quality. You have to define the working procedures to achieve quality. Now, how you can define the working procedures to achieve quality? If you are doing some welding work, for welding work, what should be the thickness of the weld? What should be the quality of the weld? What should be the finishing procedures? How you are going to finish them? To achieve, how you are going to, which rod you are going to use. So whether the welder is trained for that work or not. So these things, for working procedure. So work is, what is work? That work is welding. So for welding activity, what are the procedures that you are going to follow? What are the rods that you are going to use? What is the machine that you are going to use? Where is the skilled worker who is going to weld, skilled welder who is going to weld this? So all these things you have to define, you have to plan, you have to define those working procedures. So once those working procedures are defined and finalized, then we need to record those processes, methods along with defects. So we need to record whatever working procedures for the different types of activities on a construction project that we are going to follow. We need to record those processes. Let us say that, okay, in a construction project, we are going to do some glass facade works. Where glass facade works, you are going to have some aluminum channels, aluminum and glass works. In aluminum and glass works, how you are going to achieve those good quality. So the glass that is going to come from the factory, those should be inspected for bubbles and other defects. The aluminum powder coated or any other kind of aluminum that is going to be used for glass facade works. And the jointing and fixing, how the fixing of the aluminum frame is going to be done on the concrete work. So all these procedures need to be written down step by step, and they need to be recorded along with the defects that are going to come, the common defects that accrue during the working procedures. Those should be recorded so that people try to avoid those defects by working in the correct manner. Now, document those processes. Those processes on a construction project site that needs to be documented so that any new worker who is coming to work on that particular site, he reads those documents, or the engineer reads those documents, explains to the worker, trains the worker in that particular process. Okay, this kind of work is to be done. These are the processes, step-by-step procedure that you are going to handle. And this is how you are going to achieve the best quality. And this is how the defects are going to come, how you have to rectify. Once you document the process, once you do everything is, you have a quality management plan, you have a working procedure, you have recorded all the processes, you have documented all the processes now, and the work is going on a construction project site. Now you need to celebrate quality. So we need to celebrate, just as we celebrate some sort of festival. So we need to celebrate on the construction site to make people attract their attention towards good quality work. So celebrating quality is to celebrate a week, a month of the year to promote quality. So once you celebrate quality, quality will always be promoted. Now, once the quality is promoted, you have celebrated quality and quality is promoted, people become quality conscious. They know that they had celebrated the quality and these were the tips that were given. So these were the posters that was displayed. What are the procedures that we need to follow? So we need to promote quality. Once quality is promoted, celebrated, now reward quality conscious achievements. Of course, people who are doing quality work, they should be rewarded. People who are quality conscious on construction project site and achieving good quality work, they should be given out of due promotion. They should be rewarded in some another manner, maybe monetary benefit, maybe some trophies, maybe some cash prize. So once this quality conscious achievements are rewarded, it motivates other workers also to achieve quality in their domain of work. So now we move on to the next slide. Next in line in construction quality management, next to scope comes construction quality management plan. So in the scope, we saw that construction quality management plan was the first that we need to work out. So what we do in construction quality management plan? What are the things that we need to put in preparing a construction quality management plan? So we need to define quality policies. You need to first of all have a quality policy. What are the levels and standards that you are going to achieve in construction projects? Those quality policies should be well defined. You should have clear and measurable objectives. Clear and measurable objectives. Okay, we are going to deliver good construction projects. Now to deliver good construction projects, what are the stringent measures? What are the stringent measures that you are going to employ, that you are going to deploy at the site to control quality? Suppose you are doing some concreting work on a construction site. Now, when the concrete comes to the site, how you are going to ensure that the concrete is of good quality? The first check is the slump. So we're going to ensure that all the batch of concrete that comes to the site, the slump is properly checked. Then cube casting and cube testing to check the strength. So slump checks the workability. Cube test checks the strength of the concrete. Achieved at 7 days, 14 days, and 28 days. So you have to have clear and measurable objectives. What should be the slump that you will accept? What should be the strength of the cube that you need to accept? So these are the clear and measurable objectives as far as quality control of a concrete as a material is concerned. Similarly, next in line in a quality management plan, you need to have contract requirement standards. If the contract says that you need to have brass fittings on all the doors, so all the ironmongeries need to have brass fittings. You need to have you have to get those brass fittings of good quality. So if the contract says that you need to have M25 grade concrete, Fe415 steel. So if the contract standard says that these are the grades of concrete and steel that you are going to achieve, so you need to have them as per the contract. Now, statutory and legal compliance. You need to have statutory and legal compliance. Okay, you're working in a city. Suppose your project is located in the middle of a city and you are performing night work. And if your machinery creates loud noise nearby to the construction site, people will get disturbed. They will complain to the police. And you will have to give an answer why you are creating so much noise in the city. So what are the statutory and legal compliance? So during those periods, you need to do such a work which do not produce noise at night, maybe after 11 o'clock. From 11 o'clock to early morning 5 o'clock, you cannot run any equipment and machinery which generates noise. So these statutory and legal compliance you have to meet. Otherwise, then you may be penalized for that. So this is also a part of the construction quality management plan. So these legal compliance and legal statutory should be written clearly in your construction quality management plan. Then comes the code of practice. What are the codes of practice and standards that you are going to adopt at your construction site? Maybe American code of practice, British code of practice, Indian code of practice. So that should be clearly defined in the construction quality management plan, which code of practice you are adopting for your construction project. So with all these objectives achieved, with all these standards defined in your construction quality management plan, your construction quality management plan is ready for use. So once we understood the scope of construction quality management, we understood how to prepare a construction quality management plan, what are the things that we need to include. So quality policies also include wastage. How much wastage you are going to tolerate? If the wastage is beyond limit, you need to control the wastage. So these are the points that you need to include in your construction quality management plan. Next, in line with this construction quality management is the construction quality management tips. So construction quality management tips set 1. So first set of construction quality management tips that I am going to give you are the following as given in the slide. And that is get the right workers. On a construction project, it is very difficult to get trained workers. We know that we are not going to get workers trained for the particular job that we are looking for. So what next? What we should do? We should train those workers. We need to train them for the particular activity that they are going to handle and screen them. If somebody if some workers are unable to perform a particular job, we need to screen them out. We need to retain the right workers. We need to retain only those workers who have the perfect knowledge of the processes that are going to be followed for a particular activity. So getting the right workers is the first tip, first advice in construction quality management. Next comes the get the right technology. Technology also plays a very important role in quality management. So getting the right technology. If you are going to do survey work, if you are going to survey a particular area, and if you use chain and rod, ranging rod, of course you are going to achieve the objective, but the accuracy and the quality you are not going to achieve if you use a total station. If you use a total station in place of ranging rod and chain, perhaps you will get a better quality. So The new technology is total station in surveying, digitized equipments where you get most accurate values. So getting the right technology means getting the right equipment, getting the right gadgets in place to perform the construction work. Next comes use of correct materials. So use of correct material is very, very important. The material that is delivered to the site, sampling of the material should be done and quality check should be done. It should be a habit. It should not be that once. It should be a regular habit that the lot of materials that are coming to the site, that is delivered to the site, that quality of the material is stringently checked, and any bad quality material should be removed from the site. You need to retain only the good quality materials as per the standards. So using correct material is one of the advice, one of the tips to achieve good quality. Check and recheck again and again. Maybe first line of checking by the supervisors, construction supervisors, they miss something. Second line of checking by construction quality engineers. Third line of inspection and checking by construction managers. So you need to have these procedures that, okay, first line of inspection by construction supervisors, then by quality control engineers. If you don't have quality control engineers, the quality should be checked by the site engineer. Next in line, if anything missed by these two line of checking, it should be checked by the construction manager and the project manager. So check and recheck again and again to achieve best quality. Ensure safety compliance. Safety compliance is very, very important to achieve quality. Now you must be asking, what has safety to do with quality? Of course, you have heard again and again that due to scaffolding failure or due to some major failure, the bridge collapsed while it was in construction. This means that the staging and the scaffolding that was in use, that was not properly checked, that was not properly erected, that was not properly checked and rechecked again to ensure that any bracing in the scaffolding or anything is missing, any support is missing. Even if a support is missing and the load is slowly transferred on that staging or scaffolding, even if one prop is missing, it may lead to a complete collapse of the whole structure. So you need to ensure that the scaffolding which is being used, the machinery which is being used is totally safe. It will not lead to any accident. Next comes control environmental pollution. Of course, environmental pollution is also one of the construction quality management advice. So you need to control environment pollution. Pollution is generated in terms of dust. So you need to have regular sprinkling of water. You need to have screen guard to prevent dust, generation of dust. Not only dust, there are many other ways by which you need to control environmental pollution. You need to have a waste management plan. If the wastes are generated at site, it should not be dumped here and there. As we see in some Indian scenario, you go to the site and whole lot of waste generated that are dumped here and there. They should be immediately removed from the site and they should be dumped at a safe place. So controlling of environmental pollution is also one of the construction quality management tips and advice. Next, avoid scope changes. Once a project is finalized and the project is underway, after something is constructed, then the owner of the project, the client or somebody comes with some fancy ideas and he says, okay, no, not this way, I want this way. Then if there is scope changes, that will also spoil the quality. because the construction project is completely integral. Foundation is integrated with the superstructure. Superstructure is integrated with the finishing works. Finishing is integrated with all the services work. If you do any scope changes, it will lead to complete chaos, and you are not going to coordinate all the things in a proper way. Scope changes should be avoided as far as possible. So whatever you have to construct, whatever you have to do in a particular project, whatever activities and structures that you finalize, that should be complete and final without any further scope changes, unless it is required from safety point of view. So avoiding scope changes also leads to best quality work in construction projects. Now we move on to the next slide, construction quality management tips 2. Now construction quality management tips 2, how we are going to achieve good quality work. The first in the second set of construction quality management tips and advice is auditing and testing. You need to audit the construction site. You need to test the machinery. You need to test the equipment that are working. You need to test the electrical equipment, whether they are working properly or they will lead to accident. You need to test for the leakages in the wires. You need to audit the construction site. Now, how to audit the construction site? So, construction practice and procedures, the standards. You need to compare those standards with the standards that are being followed on the construction site. The practice that is being followed in the construction site. Whether they are exactly the way it is defined as per the code and standards, or there is some deviation. If there is any deviation, then the auditor should put their note and either tell the site people to make correction and comply to the requirement of codes and standards. So auditing of construction site is very, very important to achieve good quality work. Next comes repair deficiencies immediately. We have seen on some construction sites that deficiencies occur and nobody bothers about repairing those deficiencies. So wherever deficiencies are detected, they should be immediately repaired wherever possible. If repairing is not possible, demolish the whole structure. That is one of the solutions. But don't take risk to get bad quality work. So if you have to go for excellent quality standards, stringently check them, repair them if possible, or demolish them and rework. Now, doubly ensure your expectation from vendors and suppliers. So vendors and suppliers are one of the link in construction quality management. You have everything in place, but the vendors and suppliers do not comply to the norms and standards that are required for that particular work. They have committed that they will supply this kind of material, but when it is delivered to the site, it is totally different from what they had committed. So you have to doubly ensure that before being delivered to the site, sample of the material is checked and it is passed and it is tested as far as quality control is concerned. So suppliers and vendors materials should be tested before they are ordered, before they are delivered to the site. So doubly ensure your expectations from vendors and suppliers before starting a particular work. Next, strictly check material quality delivered at site. This I have already described in the previous step, that whatever material that is delivered at your site, it should be strictly checked and stringently checked, and any bad quality material should be immediately removed from the site. Yes, I see the corruption. I described the corruption part of this material checking also, because sometimes The suppliers bribe the engineers. Sometimes the suppliers bribe the managers to deliver bad quality material. So this is another part also which should be inculcated in construction quality management, and any such corrupt engineers or managers should be penalized. And they should be immediately terminated and removed from the site. So corruption also is one of the part of construction quality management. Now, last but not least, I can say that have a proper quality inspection plan and checklist. Before you are going to go for inspection, you have to have a checklist. What are the items that you are going to check? You are going to check the line and length, the color, the shading, the texture, the workmanship. So all these you need to, before starting a quality inspection, you need to have a checklist. And based on the checklist, you go on ticking, you go on passing those standards along with the checklist. And if you have a quality inspection plan, you can have 2 to 3 rounds of inspection. Initial inspection can be done by the construction supervisors. Second line of inspection can be done by the site engineers or quality engineer. And third line of final round of inspection can be done by the construction managers and project managers before they are shown to the client or the owner of the project. So have a proper quality inspection plan, and that quality inspection plan should be documented properly and it should be recorded properly as far as the quality control is concerned. So with this, I end my lecture for today on construction quality management. So depending upon different types of projects, the construction quality management, there is slight variation on the type of activities that is handled on a particular construction site. But the overall processes and management structure as far as quality control is concerned remains the same. It will only vary depending on the nature of the project and the place of the project from country to country. Maybe in India, the quality standards may be different. Maybe in UK or USA or Australia or Hong Kong or any other countries, the quality standards may be different. So it all depends on the top management, how to ensure good quality at construction project sites. With this, I end my lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.